These hards are the tires to be on now. Look at Leclerc up the inside of Cops. Hamilton does not know what to do. Alonso is still there. Russell is within a second now. What's going to happen on this final straight? Hamilton just bullies Leclerc out of the way. But here we go. Turbocharged 51 over here. I hope you're having a splendid day wherever you are in the world. Guys, welcome back to Turbo Fox Racers. Welcome back to F1 23 career mode. And welcome back to chasing the championship in our cognizant Aston Martin machine alongside Fernando Alonso. Guys, we are heading towards the home of Formula One. We are heading towards Silverstone for the British Grand Prix, where the first ever official Formula One race was held. The home of so many drivers, but it's gonna get juicy. We are going to our team's home Grand Prix. It's gonna be a good one. So guys, heading in towards this episode, you guys can see there's a few upgrades that are still waiting to come onto the car, and there's still a lot that needs to be done before the end of the season. I mean, this is now what, round 7 roundabout, and yeah, we still got a lot to do if we want to win this championship, because we don't just have to worry about Red Bull. Actually, we have to worry more about Mercedes, a little bit less about Ferrari, and then about Red Bull, because Red Bull currently have not been carrying their weight whatsoever. But guys, before we get into the actual episode, please keep an eye on what's happening on screen. I need to give you guys a quick update. I'll release a short about it as well when I actually do have the time to do it, which you guys will understand why now. So guys, unfortunately, currently in South Africa, there is a massive problem with load shedding. And it's not countrywide, it's specifically in my little Kempton Park area in the province of Gauteng. So up until next week, Tuesday, which is the 8th of August, we have got an insane amount. It's something like 10 hours of load shedding during the day. Not at night, during the day. So I barely have any time to work on my content, and I know obviously after all the shorts and the teasers and everything, you guys are expecting a massive vlog. Guys, there is almost no way that I'm going to be able to get the vlog done this week. There's just too much editing, there's too much stuff that needs to happen, and I almost never have power. So I will do little by little by little, but the vlog will be released before next weekend. Next weekend, let me just quickly check here for you guys. This weekend is the weekend of the 6th of August. Well, the 5th to the 7th of August. Next weekend is the weekend from the 11th to the 13th of August. The vlog will be released before that time, I promise. But I hope you guys understand it's a very, very sensitive topic and a very crappy situation. But that is the announcement. Like I said, I will release a short and something on all my social medias to let you guys know. Other than that, let's get straight into the video, even though it's 3.5 minutes in already. Sorry about that. So guys, heading in towards this episode, we at Aston Martin are still the quickest car on the grid, but we are literally just a pixel ahead of Red Bull. And now I can see it is only round 6. So after this race, we've still got 10 races of this season to go. Ferrari P3, Mercedes P4, McLaren are slowly but surely starting to edge away from the midfield, but every time it seems that they're going to do that, the midfield catches up. But McLaren P5, Haas P6, Alpine P7, Alfa Romeo P8, Williams P9, and Alpha Tauri are really starting to lose ground to the rest of the field, as they are still sitting in P10 according to the R&D chart. Now, as you guys have seen this whole season so far, this chart, some races, means absolute nothing, because that is what the game says the fastest cars are. But then we get to specific tracks where some of the cars and the teams are strong, and that board is just a bunch of mumbo-jumbo. So heading in towards this weekend, Silverstone is a high downforce, high speed very chassis reliant circuit. Your chassis takes most of the punishment here, especially when it gets to tire wear. But you need good aero and a good engine as backup. And we have the good aero and the good engine power, but not the very good chassis. So I think this might be a very tough weekend for us here at Aston Martin Racing. But in any case, guys, out of Q1, Sergio Perez misses out on falling out in Q1 by the skin of his teeth. It's like less than half a tenth, but out in Q1 is Logan Sargent, Nico Hulkenberg, Oscar Piastri, and both the AlphaTauris of Yuki Tsunoda and Nick de Vries. But Perez was literally on the verge of just being like, okay, bye, you are yeeted into oblivion. We now head into Q2. As you guys can see, I'm giving the Alpine, I think it's of Pierre Gasly, a nice tow all the way around the lap. So I think he's going to put in a pretty stellar lap. You guys know my first lap in Q2 and Q3 is on a worn set of soft tires. So we come across the line. We are only 2.5 tenths behind our teammate.
Come into the pits at the end of this lap.
Thank you very much, Mark. We're only 2.5 tenths behind our teammate Fernando Alonso. And by the end of quali, we're only P9. We can't just leave it up. We have to go out again. It's a 4/10 improvement as we come across the line. And that is good enough for P5. This time it is Valtteri Bottas and also actually Norris and Alonso that just make it through. But out in Q2 is the two Alpines of Ocon and Gasly, the Haas of Magnussen, the second Williams of Alexander Albon, and the Alfa Romeo of Guan Yu Zhou. But guys, honestly, McLaren and Alfa Romeo really seem to be picking up their pace, especially in the hands of Norris and Bottas. But also don't throw away Alpine just yet. They are still doing a very good job with the equipment that they have. Coming towards the end of our first lap in Q3, we come across the line to pip Bottas with a 25.782. We tell Mark we're going to box again this lap. And obviously, guys, once again, done on a worn set of soft tires. And guys, coming towards the end of the session,
Rain is going to be with us for a while now. Dries definitely seem like the fastest tyre at the moment.
guys, I honestly forgot to keep an eye on the radar, and there is rain falling. So even though the track is still dry and I'm still going to go for my final lap, the chances are that time set on a worn set of softs is the time that's going to count. Because obviously, it's very tricky conditions. The track is getting greasier corner by corner. So we need to have our wits about us and try and squeeze some sort of extra time out of this. We are currently sitting P4. I think Alonso is sitting in P7. And your front two is Verstappen and Leclerc. But you guys can see heading through the first sector, we are still in the red. Not by much, but we are still in the red. So the pace is still reasonably there. The track is very much rubbered in, and that is what we're going to have to rely on, is the rubbered in track to see if we can get anywhere. But heading into Luffield, we're already 4 tenths down just with 2 corners, and the car's rear end kicks and it sends us to the gravel trap as we correct, and that is qualifying over, and I don't think anybody is going to better their times. So that is it. Qualifying is over. Nobody improved their times. Leclerc takes pole position from Verstappen P2, Sainz P3, ourselves P4 for the home team. Russell and Hamilton, the two Brits, in P5 and P6. Perez P7, Alonso P8, and Norris and Bottas complete the top 10. That's a very sad way for qualifying to end, guys, but still, there's a big race coming, and we've got 8 cars that can win. What's going to happen? Let's go find out.
Welcome everyone as you join us at a former Second World War aircraft base, now converted into one of the great motor racing tracks. Britain is one of only 2 countries to have held a Grand Prix in every year of the Formula One World Championship, and long may that continue. This is Silverstone, and this is the British Grand Prix. With good opportunities to overtake at the end of the Wellington and Hangar Straights, there's a lot of potential for close action around the 3.6 miles of Silverstone circuit. With 18 corners and average lap speeds of around 145 miles per hour, it's also one of the longest and quickest circuits on the calendar. Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. A fantastic effort from Charles Leclerc yesterday, and it's put him on pole. And Max Verstappen lines up alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Sainz, O'Connor, Russell, Hamilton, Perez, Fernando Alonso, Norris, Bottas, Ocon, Gasly, Magnussen, Albon, Zhou, Sargent, Hulkenberg, Oscar Piastri, Sonoda, and Nick de Vries. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
So guys, sitting pretty on the grid for our team's home race. And guys, obviously you guys know I like to favor a two-stop or trying to use the two softest compounds. But the wear around Silverstone is too high for using the mediums and the softs, in my personal opinion, especially with these Season 1 cars. And the pit lane, this is the longest pit lane on the calendar. A two-stop with how close the racing is going to be is just not the way to go. So you guys can see, I'm going to go with an oldie but goodie and something that the AI use a lot, and that's the two harder compounds, meaning hards and mediums, for the race. I thought about the softs, but their wear is insane when the cars are heavier than in qualifying. So we're probably going to do hards to mediums, maybe hards to softs, you never know, but there's a lot that can happen. And to be honest with you guys, I think at the last moment, which I forgot to record, I think I swapped back to mediums to do a medium to hard strategy, or was it hards to mediums? I can't even exactly remember, but I did change my mind a bit. As you guys can see here, there's I customed a lot, I tried a lot of strategies, but yeah, there we go, swapping back to mediums. I actually did record it. I thought that I forgot, but this is just the best way to go. Optimize the mediums as much as possible. Do it 13-13, see how it goes. But guys, now let's get ready for the race.
The formation lap gets underway and every driver will be looking to settle in for the race ahead, making sure that their car is ready for the battle once the lights go out. We're almost ready to start the race as the cars take their positions on the grid, with the drivers and teams making their final preparations.
Guys, I am the only driver starting on the slow tire, which is the hard. Everybody else has gone for the softs and the mediums. My teammate has even gone for the softs. So Alonso's looking to make some moves in these first few laps of the Grand Prix. But I mean, those two Ferraris are going to be menacing. Both the Mercs coming from behind are going to be menacing. And Verstappen is always going to be a problem. Perez has really been not carrying his weight recently. So Perez, I'm not too worried about. But Alonso, both the Mercs, both the Ferraris, and Verstappen are cars that I'm worried about. But guys, it is now time. Here we go. Let's head to 5 red lights. And it's go, go, go for the British Grand Prix. Leclerc and Verstappen on the front row. We are on the second row alongside the second Ferrari of Carlos Sainz. Into T1, Leclerc stays ahead of Verstappen. We squeeze out Carlos Sainz and take P3. Ferrari, Red Bull, Aston Martin, first 3. Then you've got the second Ferrari of Sainz, followed by the two Mercs. Perez battling with Lewis Hamilton at this stage. He didn't get a good start. Russell is the one of the two Mercedes drivers that got the better start. Will Perez go ahead of Hamilton as we head down the Hamilton straight? I think this is the Hamilton straight. I hope I'm not mistaken. Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. Into this next left field section of the track. Perez is ahead of Hamilton with that Red Bull's very, very strong straight line speed. Alonso following them close behind. But I mean, the top 8 are literally the top 4 best teams. Alpine, oh wow, what the Ocon has jumped Norris and Bottas. Even Magnussen has gotten ahead of Bottas at the lower part of the top 10. We defend from Sainz going through Copse corner. But here comes the Spaniard and here comes George Russell at his home Grand Prix. We park the car in the middle of the road. Russell, Sainz side by side heading through Maggots and Beckett. Russell on the inside for this next part. Then Sainz will have the inside as we get onto the back straight. Here we go. Side by side. No DRS enabled yet. We have to wait for lap 3. But here comes Sergio Perez. We have broken away because of their battling. 3 wide heading into this next section. Will Perez go around the outside of the Ferrari? Russell gets into P4. Sainz and Perez still side by side as he heads towards the final 3 corners of this first lap. Perez, Sainz still side by side. The Ferrari has a little bit of a twitch through the corner, and Perez gets his Red Bull up into P5. So it's Leclerc, Verstappen, myself, Russell and Perez, your top 5 at the end of lap 1. Sainz, Alonso and Hamilton bring up the rest of the pack. I don't know where Alonso got past Hamilton. We'll have to take a replay of that. But guys, look at our start. Even on the hard tires, we have an exact, the very similar start to the guys on the mediums. Sainz leaves the door wide open, and that's an easy move up into the podium positions. We now need to try and stay with Max and Leclerc, which is going to be very, very hard on these hard tires, on their new mediums. But through this next section, guys, through Copse, Hamilton somehow gets held up by the Red Bull here. And I'm not sure completely what happens here, but it enables Alonso to get side by side with Hamilton, heading into Maggots and Beckett, and he just whooshes around the outside of the 7-time world champion. And I'm sure Hamilton is looking for home glory here. This is his home Grand Prix, and Hamilton is quick around Silverstone. And even got Ocon and Norris involved in this fight. Does Hamilton lose another position here? Oh my word, Norris gets a twitch of oversteer, heading through that right-hander. But into the chicane, Ocon just bullies Hamilton and gets up into P8. I don't think that's going to last long because the Alpine doesn't have the pace to stick with the other top 7. So Hamilton is going to get past that Alpine very quick, but very nicely done there from Fernando Alonso. And he's making these softs work for him right now, guys, as he's going around the outside. Offside, still no DRS because it's only lap 2. Around the outside of his fellow Spaniard, down towards the chicane. Alonso is ahead of Carlos as he's now chasing after the Red Bull of Sergio Perez. We have a look at a replay here of Hamilton getting past Ocon, and you guys can see Ocon is already dropping to the cars in front. So there's nothing Ocon can do. It's an easy move here from Lewis. Ocon tries to fight it. He's on the soft tires, but Hamilton just has the superior pace on the corner exit. Nothing that Ocon could do. We now jump on to lap 3, where DRS has finally been activated. And here comes Verstappen and Leclerc. And guys, I need these two to battle as much as possible because it's going to help me to stay with them. Otherwise, I'm going to have a big, big problem. DRS around here, just as in Austria, is a big advantage. So Leclerc tries to come back at Verstappen, heading into the chicane. The Ferrari has very good corner exit this weekend, and that's why they are that's why they qualified P1 and P3. But Verstappen has got the corner entry and the mid-corner grip over the Ferrari, but Leclerc sticks ahead of Verstappen into the next part. We are in the battle with Russell. It's a massive dive up the inside from us in the Aston Martin. The home crowd goes nuts as the British team takes the lead of the British Grand Prix. Leclerc and Verstappen are still side by side with Russell looming in the background. Here comes that Mercedes with DRS. That Merc is not a slouch in a straight line. Into the next corner, we defend from Verstappen. There's 4 cars battling for the lead here. We are forced wide a little bit by Verstappen there as he had a little bit of it was an awkward line. I had to leave him as much room as possible for in case he locked up. But we lead the way from Verstappen. Russell and Leclerc still side by side. Perez, Alonso, Sainz and Hamilton coming from behind. This can't go on for too long. We are side by side with Max through Copse. We defend, but Russell and Leclerc are still going for it. And here comes Sergio Perez in the second Red Bull. This is big stuff here at Silverstone. Alonso is not far behind. Russell is trying to get past Verstappen as we are trying to break away while these guys battle with everything they've got. What a lap! Oh my word, guys, that has been insane. It started with 2, ended with 6 cars battling for the lead there. Oh my word, I'm not going to have a voice at the end of this race. It's only lap 4 and the action is this intense. Look at Perez, guys. Oh, so Alonso did get past Perez, which we unfortunately missed, and I do apologize. But Perez just swoops around the outside of Alonso on the back straight. And then at the beginning of the lap, guys, look at our POV. This was incredible. Through the first corner, Verstappen and Leclerc hold each other up. We have to lift and go down to 7th gear. But they just leave the door wide open on the inside. Obviously, you guys know I love an opportunity like that. I go for the dive, take the lead. But look at what happens next. So look, Verstappen and Leclerc side by side. Russell with all the slipstream and DRS in the world. Verstappen gets past Leclerc, tries to come back up my inside. You guys can see here, I actually I braked myself a little bit. That's why I went wide. But I mean, Verstappen puts me under pressure. And after this little sequence here, it's just, I need to stay ahead. But Russell and Leclerc, even though they're battling, because they've got slipstream, they are still faster than Verstappen. And because I hold Verstappen up going through Copse, he is under immediate pressure from Russell and Leclerc. And I mean, my brain does not comprehend everything that just happened. I know I just spoke over everything, but oh my goodness. And Hamilton, that was a massive moment heading into Copse as he overtook Sainz, because obviously these guys need to try and stick with us. We now jump to lap 5, and obviously I'm still on the hards. These guys are still on the mediums. They've got the grip advantage. So Verstappen tries and comes right around our outside on the back straight. He gets the corner done, and that's a very, very beautiful move there from Verstappen. Down the hill towards the final chicane. Verstappen on the inside. I decide to let Max go, guys, because I want DRS. race, and there's not too much pressure from Russell, Leclerc, Perez, Hamilton, Alonso, and Sainz from behind. Oh my God, I can't believe we've got 8 cars battling for the championship. This is absolutely insane, battling for the win every race. It's insane. But I mean, up the inside of Max, guys, Max is so... I don't know why, but the Red Bull does not seem to suit the first 2 corners, and they're basically flat out. But the Red Bull just isn't stable through there, and that's why I've got such an incredible run through there every time. But Max still defends. We get DRS, overtake mode is engaged. There's nothing that Max can do about it, especially with this Aston straight line speed. And guys, we are making this chassis work for us. Obviously, I get it. We do not have the chassis to really compete with these guys, but our straight line speed is proving dividends. And I mean, our corner exit acceleration out of these slow speed corners is definitely the low end speed to beat. And now you guys look at the background, Norris and Ocon are battling. Sainz is trying to get past Alonso. Yeah, I think those softs on Alonso's car have already seen better days, and he is now struggling to keep up with this pack. Sainz gets through on his mediums, but Alonso should just use Sainz as a tow. And Alonso, my own personal opinion, go for the undercut, see if you can get towards the lead if you go to the hards at the end, because these guys are all going to go on to hards, Fernando. Play this smart. Undercut us all and see what you can do. I do not mind losing P1 to Alonso. I can battle him later on in the race because I am going to be on the mediums. But, I mean... currently, I'm keeping the lead, but Russell is now sniffing the gearbox oil of this Honda-powered Red Bull. Into Maggots and Beckett's. It seems Hamilton and Russell loves those moves heading into Maggots and Beckett's. The Merc is so stable through this sector of the track, but don't forget about the pole sitter. Leclerc is not going to take this lying down. 3 wide again, heading towards the end of lap 8. Leclerc just dusts Verstappen and Russell in the straight line. All the slipstream in the world with DRS, but Max is just like, no. Not happening that easily. And Max just has the braking power into the next corner. Leclerc on the inside again. That inside line is so slippery, and it's almost impossible to get a move done there. But here comes Hamilton. He's overtaken Perez. Once again, guys, I'm sorry I missed it, but there's so much happening. Hamilton up the inside of his teammate at the first corner. And I mean, Hamilton is adamant to get a podium in this Grand Prix. It's very clear by the way he's driving. This is an absolutely insane Grand Prix so far, and I honestly don't think my voice is going to last. I've still got more than 10 minutes of racing for you guys to commentate over. But here we go. Hamilton, Russell defended successfully, but into this next part, Hamilton is still right behind his teammate. Sainz gets ahead of Perez in the Red Bull. I mean, oh my God, and Alonso is still there. Those softs have got to be very second-handy on lap 9, but he's sticking with us because he needs the DRS, otherwise his undercut is not going to work. He needs to stay with us so that he doesn't have too big of a gap to break here. We have got a 2.3 second lead as Verstappen, Leclerc, Russell, Hamilton, all of these guys are battling, and I am not complaining because it's at this stage of the race where the hards will have better pace than the mediums. But I mean, how is all of this happening? I literally have no words. Leclerc going through Cops gets a beautiful run on Max heading into Maggots and Beckett's. He does a Mercedes, little bit of a twitch there on entry, but he gets past Verstappen. But I mean, now Verstappen has got DRS for the back straight, and that Red Bull is a rocket ship in a straight line. Let's have a look here. Russell and Hamilton are falling a bit behind with their battling. They can't afford that, but here comes Lewis Hamilton around the outside of his teammate. Verstappen tries around the outside of Leclerc. They are still side by side, but I mean, what a corner exit from Verstappen. The Red Bull really doesn't suit Silverstone as much as the other 3 teams, but Verstappen is making this car work. And you guys can see with Perez struggling, he's struggling to stay ahead of Alonso on worn softs. And I mean, Perez has lost 1.3 seconds to Sainz now. But here we go again. We've got a 2.9 second lead at this stage, and things are starting to work out beautifully for us at our team's home Grand Prix. Leclerc does the exact same to Verstappen he did the previous lap. But again, Verstappen will have DRS, but now there are 2 very black Mercedes right in their mirrors. Here we go. Hamilton does not know where to go. Left, right. He decides on the left. He goes around the outside of Leclerc as Max just rocket ships past Leclerc. Hamilton around the outside of the pole sitter. But I think Leclerc is so frustrated, guys, because Sainz isn't supporting him that much. Same with Max. Perez and Sainz are not supporting their teammates, and Hamilton and Russell are right there. There is so much still to happen. And look at the straight line speed of Alonso's Aston Martin. He just dusts Perez without DRS, and that is thanks to engine upgrades from Mercedes and ourselves. Let's go, boys, let's go. Lap 11, Alonso is in. This is the critical part of the race, guys. Can we get an Aston Martin 1-2 here today at Silverstone? Alonso is in. He's followed by a lot of the soft tyre runners, but he's the only soft tyre runner in the top 8. So Alonso is trying to make a very, very, very hard strategy work. Off with the softs, onto the hards. Wait a minute, that's yellow. Is Alonso one-stopping from softs to mediums? What is he doing? I think Alonso needs the pace of the mediums to try and undercut these guys. That's the only thing that's going through my mind, because I don't think the mediums are going to last that long. I mean, okay, hats off to Alonso if he makes the strategy work, but I mean, that's a bold one. Lap 12, Ferrari tried to cover Alonso as well as McLaren, even though I don't think McLaren are going to cover Alonso. But Leclerc is the first one on the mediums to pit from a very battling position. I think Leclerc is trying to do what we're trying to do at Aston for Alonso, and try and get an undercut going. But will those hards heat up quick enough, and will they have proper pace quick enough? But here we go. Has Alonso done enough in one lap, on his out lap, to jump Charles Leclerc, who was battling for the top the top positions besides myself? Here we go. Alonso through the first corner. There's Leclerc. There's Leclerc. Alonso gets the move done. Well done, Fernando. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. The British crowd is going to go insane at this stage. I'm sure you guys can hear them in the background. I mean, oh my great goodness. Let's go, Alonso. Leclerc needs to heat up those tires now. He will have DRS, but he has to heat up those tires first. Come on, Alonso. Let's try and break away on those fresh mediums. We can worry about the tire wear later on in the race. We now jump again to the leaders. And guys, this is the lap that I'm going to be pitting as well. Remember, I'm doing 13 laps, because I think the mediums, even though they're going to be a bit rotten at the end, 13 laps is good, and I don't want to sacrifice this lead, as these guys can undercut me. Into the lane we go. Who's going to follow us? Let's see. Verstappen follows us in. Hamilton follows us in. Russell stays out. The Sainz follow us in. Yes, Sainz is in. And Perez stays out. So Russell and Perez are going to have a massive disadvantage here, because I don't think those mediums feel in good nick anymore. But let's see what happens. We are into the lane. There goes Verstappen, Hamilton, and Sainz. Here we go. They're all going onto the hards, because we know the softs will not last from this point onwards. So maybe Alonso has played a blinder here. If he can work with those tires to get them to the end, I mean, I would love a 1-2 for Aston Martin at our home Grand Prix, but even a top 5 would be phenomenal for Alonso, because this Aston is not in the realms of these other 3 teams at this specific track. This is a chassis-centered track, and we do not have the chassis underneath us. But look at Alonso! He's ahead of Verstappen, Hamilton, and Sainz. No, you gotta be kidding me. Alonso, you freaking beauty. Obviously, he didn't pass us, guys. We had a 3.5 second lead as we boxed. So Alonso would have to have worked hard to get that. But even costing themselves more time is Russell and Perez. They're battling, and this is not a good thing for their time, for the full race time, guys. Perez and Russell are losing so much time, but I guess let bygones be bygones. Mercedes versus Red Bull. Here we go. And now, guys, we are in 3rd place now, 21.1 seconds behind Russell. And Alonso is under pressure from Leclerc, but he is right behind us. Currently, we are net P1 and P2 in this race, unless Leclerc has got some other ideas at this very moment. I think Leclerc, while he's got the gap to Max, wants to get a car in between himself and Max and try to break away so that he can maybe try and catch me at the end of the race. But here we go. Here comes Leclerc. It's an easy move up the inside, and it was nice while it lasted, but still, Alonso is in this fight now. He's in this fight. Come on, Alonso. Do what you do best, my guy. Be Fernando Alonso. And here we go, guys. The 2 cars that pitted, Russell and Perez, they are going to be miles behind us. That battle cost them so much. But here we go. So the new order, as soon as we go across as soon as we pass the pit lane, it's myself, Leclerc, Alonso, Verstappen, Hamilton, Norris. Look how much Norris jumped these guys. He's ahead of Sainz. Then it's Ocon, Perez, and Russell is down to P10. Norris and Ocon have played absolute blinders. Wow, well done from those 2 midfield teams. trying to get some more points out of this race. But it's not gonna last long, guys, because these top 4 cars are just too fast. Sainz around the outside of Norris on lap 15, and there is a flashing green flag. There must be some sort of retirement alongside the track. But okay, why is Russell ahead of Perez? He was just ahead. I mean, oh no. No, you've got to be kidding me. Sergio Perez is out of the British Grand Prix. He retires the car coming out of left field. That is heartbreak. So Verstappen is carrying the load for Red Bull now. But guys, our gap is sitting at 3.6 seconds. Alonso P3 just behind Leclerc. Verstappen is also looming in the background with Hamilton pressurizing Verstappen. Sainz and Russell have got some big work to do to catch up to the top 5 again. But I mean, if anybody can do it, it's these two. I mean, come on, here goes Russell up the inside of Esteban Ocon. It's a beautiful move up the inside of the Frenchman. Easy move from Russell. 10 laps to go. It's lap 16 of 26. Here we go. Alonso tries to go back up into P2. Come on, Fernando. Come on, Fernando. That's P2 for Alonso. Leclerc down to P3. Verstappen P4. Hamilton P5. Here we go. Leclerc's going to come back on lap 17 around the outside of Alonso. But I mean, like I said, guys, Alonso has gotten himself in this battle. And if Russell and Sainz can't catch up, it's a guaranteed top 5 for Fernando Alonso, and that is what I want for him. He really had a tough first stint on those softs. Taking them 11 laps is just insane. I don't even think they would last 6 laps. Utterly insane from Alonso. But here we go into Maggotts and Beckett. Here comes Verstappen trying a Mercedes up the inside of Alonso. What a very bold move there from the Dutchman. But Alonso is down to P4. Hamilton is sitting right behind them. But they all 3 have got DRS. But Hamilton is just dumping his battery. But they all want to stick with Leclerc. Leclerc's plan clearly didn't work to break away from Fernando, and those mediums paid dividends. What awesome racing here. Lap 19. Verstappen loves the Mercedes move at Maggotts and Beckett and gets it done on Leclerc. But now he's made the same mistake that Leclerc made on the first stint. And now Leclerc's got DRS and he's right behind the Red Bull of Verstappen. Charles can just not pull out. I think Max is dumping his entire battery down this straight. What incredible racing. Alonso still P4, Hamilton P5. We now jump to lap 20 as Leclerc's probably going to try and get past Max now. But here we go. Hamilton to the outside of Alonso. Come on, Fernando, defend for your life. Defend like a lion. Defend like lion. Yes, defend like lion. But there's no use. Hamilton gets the run. He's into P4, but Alonso just needs to stick with them as much as possible because I think Russell and Sainz are out of this Grand Prix. Russell did overtake Sainz, guys. Once again, I'm sorry I missed that. And I'm sorry you guys haven't gotten as much midfield battling as you guys would usually get on my other career modes. But I mean, we've got 4 teams, 8 cars battling for the win every single race, and all 8 can win the championship. I mean, why else would you want to watch the midfield? Let's be honest. Here we go. Hamilton going for the move on Verstappen. Here we go. Lewis up the inside. What a move. The crowd goes nuts for their home hero. Hamilton up into P2. Verstappen down to P3. Leclerc P4. Alonso's down to P5. They've broken 1 second to Fernando, so I think it is over for Alonso unless these guys keep doing this and Alonso can get back within 1 second. But Verstappen tries to come back at Hamilton. Oh my word, can this race please end? I'm not going to have a voice tomorrow. Here we go, up the inside. No, it cannot end. This is absolutely freaking brilliant. Hamilton around the outside. Verstappen gets Ferrari because you guys know that inside is so slippery, and every time there was a move made like that, it seemed like it was one of the Ferraris getting the tail end wagging out. Here we go. Verstappen again comes past Hamilton. Hamilton and Verstappen are renewing their rivalry here at the British Grand Prix, but nobody is getting sent to the barrier this time. Here we go into Maggotts and Beckett. Hamilton does the Mercedes. A beautiful move up the inside. Hamilton, but now again, Hamilton is going to be under severe pressure. Alonso has scored back up. They're breaking away from Russell and Sainz. It's 2.7 between Russell and Alonso. But here we go. Verstappen around the outside again. Oh my word. They're just swapping and chopping and changing lap by lap by lap. It's already lap 25. No, I don't want this to end. This is so freaking good. But with all their battling, guys, we've got a 6.3 second gap. 6.4 make that at this stage. So we've had an easy second stint just looking after the tires and making sure that we don't lose time to these guys. But the final lap has started here at Silverstone. If this was happening in real life, we would have the race of the century, not even the race of the season, the race of the damn century. But come on, final lap. Can Lewis get home glory? Yeah, it is freaking hell. These fans are going to go nuts. Verstappen, Hamilton, Leclerc, Alonso. Who's going to get P2 into the left field section of the track? Hamilton goes up the inside of Verstappen, but Verstappen is refusing to give up. Hamilton tries to hang it around the outside, but it's not happening, and the hards will still have pretty darn good pace. Now, compared to any medium or soft tire, these hards are the tires to be on now. Look at Leclerc up the inside of Cops. Hamilton does not know what to do. Alonso is still there. Russell is within a second now. What's going to happen on this final straight? Hamilton just bullies Leclerc out of the way. But here we go. Hamilton, Verstappen, no! Where's the replay? Where's the replay? Come on, look at the timing board, look at the timing board. Will Hamilton get Verstappen? Yes! Lewis gets it to P2, Verstappen P3, Leclerc is P4. Will Alonso get Leclerc? I don't think so. But we take the win of the British Grand Prix, but it was not where the action was at. Oh my word!
Oh, superb driving. That is the race win, my friend. Well done.
Well, they've done a brilliant job, I must say, under some intense pressure to take a well-earned victory here at the British Grand Prix. Well, Anthony Davidson, a resounding victory today, but what set them apart from the rest?
I feel like consistency was probably the key today. There's being quick, and then there's being quick lap after lap after lap. If you can do that, you can capitalise on other people's errors without making many of your own. And that's an approach that can push you a long way up the field.
Aston Martin's performance today has shown that they can be competitive with the biggest names in the sport. They're making their way out to the podium as we speak, and the reaction from the crowd must be incredibly uplifting for them.
Guys, you guys heard there. My voice is gone. I'm going to wake up tomorrow morning and somebody is going to forget to take me off mute. Oh my goodness, what a race. I mean, I know we were part of it for the beginning of the race, for the first stint, but I mean, as soon as we got our gap and those guys just kept battling and didn't prioritize to stay with me and then continue battling, it was an easy win for us, to be honest. We even got fastest lap. But Hamilton, Verstappen, Leclerc, and Alonso, those four drivers deserve driver of the day. I don't care what anybody says. It's a four-way tie for driver of the day. But let me run you guys through the finishing order. Myself, P1, Hamilton, P2, Verstappen, P3, Leclerc, P4, Alonso, P5, Russell, P6, Sainz, P7, Norris gets P8 with Ocon, P9, Bottas gets back into the points into P10, Gasly, 11th, Piastri, 12th, Magnussen, 13th, Albon, 14th, and I think, yeah, here we go scrolling down. But I mean, it's Hulkenberg 15th, Tsunoda 16th, Zhou 17th, Sargent 18th, De Vries 19th, and your one and only non-finisher, Sergio Perez. But guys, I mean, with that win, we take a 26-point gap in the Drivers' Championship to Charles Leclerc. Verstappen is only 2 points behind Leclerc. Hamilton is now only, 12 points behind Verstappen and 14 points behind Leclerc. If Hamilton keeps putting in these performances, he's going to get into this championship battle very quick. We have a 24-point gap to Ferrari in the Constructors, 33 to Red Bull, and 54 to Mercedes. God, I think Mercedes were heavily disappointed in George Russell after that pit stop conundrum. Not that it was a bad pit stop, but the battling with Perez and having to get through the traffic and then not having DRS. I think that is what ruined Russell's race. But I mean, guys, excuse me for clearing my throat. I think, to be honest with you guys, unless there's a massive turnaround, Sainz, Alonso, Perez, and Russell are out of the championship, in my personal opinion. The championship battle now is between myself, Leclerc, Verstappen, and Hamilton. But it's still with all four teams. It's the top driver from the four top teams. This is going to be an insane championship if this is how it's going to keep going. There's still 10 damn races to go. 10 races. with this amount, guys, I'm gonna lose my vocal cords by the end of the season if this keeps happening. But I mean, what an absolutely slobber knocker. Oh, what an absolute slobber knocker of a British Grand Prix. These fans got what they deserved. It was action from the 5 red lights until the checkered flag. And their home hero Hamilton came out to be second to beat his main rival Verstappen and the Ferrari of Leclerc. It was sad to not see a Ferrari on the podium after their exceptional qualifying, but I mean, it's not the end of the world. There's still 10 races to go, and Leclerc is still firmly in this championship fight with Verstappen and Hamilton. We have got a big advantage now, but it can change in the blink of an eye. In the absolute blink of an eye. But guys, honestly, I can talk about this race for days to come, but honestly, I'm not going to waste your guys' time. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for staying till the end. I'm going to talk slowly here. Otherwise, I will legitimately pass out, or my voice is just going to go mute, and you guys are going to be like, what's this heavy breathing on the microphone? In any case. So guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for staying till the end. Once again, guys, I apologize for the bad news about the vlog. There's nothing I can do about it. But for some updates and teasers on everything that's happening, stay subscribed to the channel with my shorts. If you've not yet subscribed, what are you doing? Hit the subscribe down below, and don't forget to ding that bell to never miss a future live stream video or short, or even a vlog. Guys, check out the links in the description down below for my social medias. All the updates will be lodged there as well, except for the full videos. And finally, there's no way you could not have enjoyed this video. The racing was absolutely insane. Make sure to drop a like down below on the video. It's only going to take you 2 seconds. I highly appreciate it. And guys, please go down in the comments down below and tell me what you guys thought. This was absolutely insane, and I enjoyed. I haven't commentated like this since F1 2019, and I loved every second of it. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I love you guys, and I'll see you guys with whatever piece of content comes next. Cheers!